Sio starehe ya matajiri na watu wako na kazi.
President Uhuru Kenyatta into active politics with some of the pronouncements that he made. One of them giving a warning to members of the Jubilee Party to go slow on some of the harsh words that they were using against opponents. And for the first time, he mentioned the former deputy president by name. I don't think in my recollection I had the former president mentioned Rigathi Gachagua any time. And just how consequential is this? Does it leave him now open to political missiles from both sides, including from President William Ruto? What does it mean for the political dynamics of this country to have Uhuru Kenyatta back in that position?
To start with, it means that he is enjoying his rights as a Kenyan. I saw people citing the Retirement Benefits Act for the president and saying he's supposed to retire. And I always remind them that, number one, the Constitution is the supreme law of the land. And any act of parliament that contradicts the Constitution then becomes unconstitutional to the extent of its contradiction. If you look at President Barack Obama, the day he left office, he came back 4 years later and campaigned actively around the whole of the United States for Joe Biden. Mm-hmm. He was enjoying his rights. He continued to have state protection. He continued to have state security. And by the way, remember this time round, he was campaigning at a time when Trump was president, and he was president on from the not the Democrats, the Republican side. So he was campaigning against the government of the day. Mm-hmm. But he was allowed to campaign. Hakunyang'anywa security, the nonsense we hear here. Hakuambiwa hatapewa benefits, the nonsense that we are hearing here. He campaigned actively against a candidate that was the incumbent head of state. Trump would become a one-term president, like someone I know is about to become a one-term president. So Trump became a one-term president that time, and Joe Biden took over for 4 years. When Joe Biden was done, it was time for Kamala Harris. President Barack Obama came out again, and he campaigned properly against, he campaigned properly for Kamala Harris. And Trump was vying that time. That's when he secured his second term. All I'm trying to say is that if we are going to establish ourselves as a democracy, we must learn from developed democracies. You cannot have some funny legislators I saw the other day shouting at Uhuru Kenyatta and telling him to shut up and retire. You're telling him to shut up and retire as who? He has his constitutional rights. Nobody told Obama to shut up and retire. Obama went throughout the United States of America and he campaigned for the candidate of his choice, and he was respected. Na hakunyang'anywa security, na hakutumiwa small demagogues to insult him for having offered himself to campaign for the candidate of his choice. That is the kind of democracy we are looking for. Number two, he speaks about Rigathi Gachagua, which I think is a good thing. And I wish our good friend Kawajiko had come. Let us give him the benefit of doubt for having not been here. But there's something I would have told him, but I'll tell him because I know he might be watching, that Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta is showing direction. He's saying, look at William Ruto. William Ruto is actually looking for Gideon Moi. He's bringing him to State House. He's shaking his hand. He's saying, let us work together. Because when those two unite, we get Singapore. But when 2-3 Kikuyus unite, you're told it's tribalism. So he's telling, and that's the message I wanted to pass to Kawanjiko, you cannot be the person who is seen to fight the people from your own region. In fact, if anything, I wish Kawanjiko had allowed himself to become the person who says, President, I will fight members of the United Opposition, but don't tell me to fight people from my own community, because you are shaking hands with people from your own community. So what Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta is telling people is that we all have to work together. The politics of insulting one another will not take us anywhere. Mm-hmm. By the way, I want Kenyans to look at Fanyamambo Kinuthia and all my clips, and there are very many. I have never called the president the names I hear people calling him. I've had people call him Kasongo. I've had nicknames that have been given to the deputy president. I don't know Soprano, I don't know Sophia. I have never called them those names, but I call out their governance. I call out their leadership. In fact, I can sit on this TV and call out all the programs about the president that I think are not doing well. But calling him names, personal attacks on him is wrong. And I think this is what Nani is saying. This is what Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta is saying. That come and say what you don't like about Rigathi Gachagua's leadership and the things he's saying. But let us not have personal attacks. If, for example, I have him here and I start giving him names, it means I have lost the agenda and I'm now insulting him. I need to fight with him as the MP for Soi, and tell him as MP for Soi, I have a problem with bursary, I have a problem with this, I have a problem with this, and fight him on issues. That's why me as Fanyamambo Kinuthia, Mungu anisaidie, nimalize hii miaka 2 bila kuita President Kasongo, because I don't think I have a problem with William Ruto. I have a problem with his presidency.
Could we be overplaying the fact that he pronounced the name Gachagua in that? He could have mentioned any other name, including the president,
No,
because there have been insults directed at all these politicians.
Specifically, he mentioned the name Gachagua for a reason. The message he's trying to pass is that he knows that Gachagua commands a good following within the region. It is no use fighting Rigathi Gachagua. Our common enemies are known. And it's not even the president himself. It is SHA, it is primary education, it is capitation to school, it is these bursaries that are being given kiholela holela, it is the loans that we are taking carelessly. Our enemies are known, and those are the enemies we are fighting against.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Kiplagat, of course, as Fanyamambo said, he quoted some members of parliament.
Rani, Moshara na modo wa maheni, na modo na maheni. Sasa, father, mimi najua hatutaki tuigize nyinyi kwa siasa, lakini wacha niulize nyinyi fathers. Kama huyu Kasongo in 3 years ameharibu masomo, ameharibu matibabu, ameharibu biashara, ameuza kila kitu, ati anaambia wa Kenya ati tumchague atoe Kenya third world country atikuwe first world. Kaimodo anatukua wanatea. Ni maheni kati maheni. No mwetekie inyue. No mwetekie. Wa muisho. Demwire. Nyumba. Irima rere tuli. Rere irima tuli. Niĩ Rigathi wa Gachagua ndamuikie irima. Nĩ mwandekeire gwĩka mahĩtia ti ũru nĩ gwĩkate. Ithuĩ thĩna ũrĩa twĩ naguo na irima rĩrĩa tũrĩ nĩ tondũ twathire ũhiki na ngari ene. Twakinya rũĩ tũkĩrwo twĩke atĩa? Rĩu tũrathondekire ngari itũ ĩtagwo DCP. Ũcio nĩguo mwĩgito witũ na ngo itũ ta nyũmba. Raila wa Odinga arahurũkire atarĩ atuĩka president wa Kenya. No gũtirĩ thirikari ataraingĩraga tondũ arakoragwo na ngari yake na makanga mega. Nĩguo rĩu twĩ na ngari itũ nĩ mũkũnjararia makanga mega? Na ngari ya rũrĩrĩ neno icio ingĩ ciothe nĩ huirubaru. Nĩguo kũrĩ ũndũ inyuĩ mũtoĩ. Mũtikahenio nĩ mũndũ tũganie kura citũ na twekire 1992. Tũkĩhe Matiba na Kĩbakĩ tũkĩhotwo nĩ Moi. Rĩu mũkũreherwo mahuirubaru gũkũ mũganie kura citũ mũndũ ũyũ acoke. Nĩ twathira ka tũtiathira? Nyũmba nĩ mũgwĩtĩkĩra gũthira? Niĩ ndamũhoya, ndamũthaitha nyũmba itũ. Niĩ nĩ ndĩrutĩire nginya muoyo wakwa kũgitĩra nyũmba ĩno ndĩkandinwo nĩ Kasongo. No mũngĩaga kũnyitana tũingĩre ngari ĩmwe maya Ngai nĩ twathira. Tũkanyagio ta mai matherũ. Tũkahũrwo kuma Nairobi ta thia tũroretio gĩthaka-inĩ. Njĩra ya kwĩgitĩra ta nyũmba ĩno itũ nĩ kũnyitana Gĩkũyũ na Meru na Embu na Ikamba. Nĩguo tũcoke tũingĩre kĩama gĩkĩ twarie ruga ĩno twetĩkĩra kũgayũkanio. Nyũmba ĩno itũ mũkaugaga yarĩ kuo ndĩarĩ kuo. Ndĩrarĩrire ndĩramwĩra nyũmba ĩno nĩ ngũmĩgitĩra. Ngai andeithĩtie. Ndĩna thigari 15 nyongererai thigari. Hei gavana gũkũ Naikuru ũtangĩendia rũrĩrĩ. Hei seneta Naikuru ũtangĩendia rũrĩrĩ. hei mojumbe wa Gilgil utangendia ruriri, hei ma MCA matangendia ruriri. Nimo gwika uguo, nimo gwika uguo. Nitwaiguithania andu a Gilgil na andu a Nyandarua. Nie nyumba ndo munjihokere, nie ndikomaga, ngomaga hingite rimwe riria ringireo ni tatoci, tondu mundu one ndimui. No ria aratubangira ma, uria aratubangira nie mama wa guthikiriria mwitikire kugayukanio, manyumba ino ni yathira. Na ndamwira nyumba itu, andu a nyumba itu, andu a nyumba itu nimoko jitana, nimogwetekera kugayukanio, nimogwetekera kugayukanio. Ndamuthaitha ndamutandukira nguo, nie ndirarora mbere ngona nduma ndi mutongoria wanyu, na ndingiaga kumwira ndirona nduma, na mwatikira tugayukanio ni Kasongo akunina nyumba ino na ndikacoka kurugama ringi. Nyumba ino ni nyumba ndathime ni Ngai, ithue tuhiana Muisraeli. Nyumba ino itu mwetikira tunyitane twarie kimwe, tutikona uru. Anyingatire obici-ini getha nine nyumba ino itu, atugayukanie 40:1. Na niria ndamenyire ngimucokaniriria, ngicoka ngithie gucaria arata itu makazi ni mehaha, nindekire wega na mutina magaithia wega, magaithia wega. Hi cousin, Mary, hi cousin, hi Makuzo. Makazini wapendane wasipendane, wakae pamoja wasikae pamoja. Kende mwire akeni ejikana na andu aya, tondu twaikara turi ithuiki mundu ni agutunina, twaikara na ikamba na baruhia na mathai ndagatunine. Niguo nimwaherwo thajikana na andu aya, twaikare nao. Ni muri magaithagia wega mwamona, muri magaithagia atia, muri magaithagia atia, muri magaithagia atia. Thengio muno nyumba itu, ndacokia ngatho family ya JM uguo twauga. Ngai atuteithia tuona thirikari na nitukuona nitukwambararia nyumba ino ya JM Kariuki irugame. Nimukugeithia